How do you use Clary Sage essential oil for mindfulness? It's such a subtle but yet powerful essential oil, and mindfulness is something we are all trying to find at some point in our lives. Liz, I wanted to ask you, how would you use this particular essential oil for enhancing mindfulness in our lives?
I would use it specifically for as a mindfulness exercises. And with Clary Sage, there's kind of two different ways that you can go forward. First, to think about the essential oil in itself, to explore the essential oil, but also as a means of being able to quieten the mind and the body to kind of just be able to concentrate on the breath. So I'll talk about those separately in a minute. But the first thing I want to talk about is the safety of Clary Sage, just before, in case somebody's picking up the oil and going, "Oh, I'm going to do this along." We certainly don't want to be doing that if we are pregnant. We don't use Clary Sage essential oil before 37 weeks of pregnancy, or really until labour is established. And likewise, if you've had a beer or a glass of wine, I would put the Clary Sage down for a while. But otherwise, this is a beautiful, beautiful oil to use to kind of focus the mind and the body. And it's a really interesting oil because it does the two things together. It quietens the mind to help to bring clarity and to bring focus and structure to one's thoughts, but also it helps the body to relax. It has a real antispasmodic quality. So if let's think about how we would do a mindfulness exercise first of all. Thinking about exploring the essential oil, because if you are interested in essential oils and you are interested in plant magic and plant medicine, then this is a great way to move forward, to think about how do I meet the spirit of the plant, but also to really come to grips with the sort of the architecture of the scent of the oil. So if you know anything about perfumery, you'll know that perfumery is broken up into sort of three different notes. You have the base notes that take a long time to evaporate. They stick to the skin. They're the fixatives on the skin. The middle notes or the heart notes are the ones that dissipate sort of normal level, and then you've got the top notes, which if you're a perfumer you tend to go for citruses and things like that that have tiny molecules and so dissipate very, very quickly. And when you smell a perfume, what you'll smell is the first of all you'll smell the top notes. They'll go, come back and smell it a little later. You'll smell the heart notes. And then what's left probably tomorrow morning when you smell your arm and you're like, oh, I can smell my perfume. Yeah, but if you smell that in comparison to the bottle, it won't smell the same at all because what's left is just the base notes. And so when we're thinking about perfumery, we say that Clary Sage is a middle note or a heart note. So it's kind of medium speed. But of course, within that, you can kind of also explore that there must be molecules that are lighter and there must be molecules that are heavier within the oil itself. So if we put that into a chemical a description, for example, the ones that are really light, that dissipate quickly, are monoterpenes. The ones that are heavier are sesquiterpenes. And what that basically means is the sesquiterpenes have got lots more molecules than the monoterpenes. Because they're very small, the monoterpenes are the ones that dissipate off fastest. So what we can do is obviously explore that within the essential oil. If you think, oh, I'm not really following what this is, think about the other oils that we've talked about and the constituents that we've talked about. So, for example, we talk about linalool, for example, or we talk about beta caryophyllene. That's what we're kind of trying to explore within the oil. Can we smell the differences in the essential oil? And this is not necessarily an academic study of any description. This is just a way to pass the time while we are doing such good things to our body by inhaling an essential oil. So when we inhale an essential oil, for example, the oils go onto the olfactory bulb, which then helps to the body to secrete more GABA and other neurotransmitters. So just spending 5-10 minutes with an oil is really great practice because it really helps to reset our nervous system. And so, of course, that's what we're aiming to do with mindfulness, right? To bring our mind into a quiet place. And we're actually chemically doing that. We're chemically engineering it by using a really relaxing essential oil to say, come on, then, we're going to open this up. But that's boring, sitting there smelling. So we're going to give ourselves a practice to do the boringness, pass the boring time. So as we inhale, we notice, where does it hit in the back of our mouth, in the back of our nose? Can we feel it in our face? Can we feel where it's hitting the different aspects? And what you're experiencing in the first breath is those monoterpenes. You're feeling where it touches in your body. But then on the second breath, we're going to concentrate on our breath and we're going to say, well, where does it take the breath to? Can you feel it in your heart space? Does it feel go right down into the base of your lungs? Just exploring what happens to that smell. And as you do it, notice how the smell changes. The first smell, you'll have got much more of the monoterpenes as you breathe slower and the air is becoming permeated with different oils coming out of the bottle. The slower ones will start to reach you. And I like to kind of imagine the oil almost, the chemistry almost as if it's a scaffold to see, can I see between the scaffolds? And as you tune in, you might notice how thoughts rise and fall. Ideas come into your head. Try not to get distracted by those thoughts. Just notice them. Go back to the oil. Become aware of your breath, aware of where it's touching you, aware of your breath. What sensations are you feeling? Aware of your breath. Aware of your breath. What can you smell? Aware of your breath. And just this rise and fall each time of noticing how there's almost a conversation going on with the oil. And I've noticed when I'm talking to AI about ideas of like what questions to ask and stuff, it will always say to me, oh, well, you ask the oil this question and you're like, an oil's not going to talk back to me and I'm not going to hear it in the same way. But notice how a language starts to emerge between you and the oil. And that language grows with time, that you will start to notice that it's actually asking your body to do different things. It's asking your mind to do different things. And while you're not actually engaging, when you're doing a mindfulness practice, incidentally, this is, when you're not actually engaging with what's the thoughts happening in my brain, because that's a different project altogether, but you're engaging with how is this affecting my body? What am I noticing? What's switching on? What's turning off? What can I smell? You'll notice that you do start to have this strong awareness of a difference of a relationship, in the same way that you might meet somebody new and the first time you think, I really like that person. I really want that person as a friend. And you can't really explain it. There's just like this harmony between you straight away. And it's also, I find it happens to me. And sometimes I'm like, I hate it that I'm not going to see that person again. And then I kind of, if I'm not careful, I turn up, get this like stalker-like quality of like, but how do I create a situation where I'm going to meet that person again? You'll start to find that you get that relationship with oils by like, because I really like what it does to my energy. You know, my energy changes so much with this oil. And that mindfulness practice of just breathing it in, notice where it hits, where does it activate in the body. You will start to think, I like the way my body feels with that oil.
I really love that activity of, really just sitting with the oil and seeing how it interacts with your body as you inhale it. I'm sure we could do this with any oil, but why do you think Clary Sage is a really powerful oil to do this activity with?
Because in actual fact, you should do it with every oil. This is, if you like, this is kind of Helen Nagle-Smith's work. that she will tell you that that's what she does with every new oil that comes in, and she writes about the experience that she has when she meets a new oil. And I do that too, although I don't tend to write it down in the same way because I'm exploring different things. But yeah, you should definitely not be buying oil and just going, oh, I like the smell of that, and putting it on the shelf and forgetting about it. You should be learning. This is a team member, right? You should be learning, how do I work with this team member? But the reason why it's so good with Clary Sage is because Clary Sage is actively saying heart and body. It's tuning. It's like your first conversation of learning to have that conversation, right? It's like, as a toddler, you have to learn to walk before, as an adult, you can go walking with other people. You've got to learn to do that work first. And so this mindfulness exercise with Clary Sage is absolutely the best oil to do this with. Frankincense slows the breath, it calms the mind, but it doesn't really have that much of like a personalized response. Whereas Clary Sage says, hello, meet yourself, really helps you to meet yourself and to learn what your antenna is saying.
From a personal perspective, I often have people ask me, how do you know so much about all the essential oils and also all the crystals? And although I am an avid student and love to read and learn and talk to other people about their experiences, I'll admit that over the, last 30 years, that's exactly what I do as well. It seems so simple, but just sitting with a crystal or sitting with an essential oil and just allowing you to have that experience and see what comes up. I even like to kind of revisit oils years later or times later. I work with different oils in different seasons, and with my new book coming out, Breathing with the Earth, I kind of talk about that. But I'm loving at the moment when I go to my yoga classes in Shavasana, I always put an oil in my hands and will breathe that in a few times, and just allow in that time any of those quiet little moments just to sit with an oil. And it's like having a conversation with a friend over a quick moment. The Swedish have this beautiful practice called fika, and fika is catching up with a friend for a short term, normally about afternoon tea. I guess the English have a cup of tea in the afternoon, kind of thing, and it's like a catch up and an unwind while you have a sweet treat and a quick drink, kind of thing. And it's almost like having fika with an essential oil or with a crystal. It allows you to deepen your own knowledge, and I think that's so important because some people always want to know, what does the expert think about a crystal, or what does the expert think about an essential oil, or in all the books it says this oil is really great for this. Well, lots of books that I read say Paris is a beautiful place to holiday, but there'll be people that will tell you that it's not as well. So I think it's really important with this mindfulness to allow you to have your own experience with each essential oil. And I think this idea of really noticing where it interacts with the body can be really powerful. So I love that you shared that with us.
I've been writing about this actually for Vine Vida that I write for in their newsletter this week, and I set them a practice actually to say, right, okay, intellectually pick yourself some oils that you say are relaxing. And then on another day pick some oils that you say are invigorating, and then on another day pick some oils that you say are grounding, and spend some time with each oil and really learn. Well, in fact, here's a good one. Pick some oils that make you feel happy. So happy, what does happy look like, right? Does lemon happy feel different to lime happy? Does lime happy feel different to orange happy? And what you'll find is it definitely does, right? And so you will get better at being able to understand, well, that's where I want to be. The journey getting there is dead easy now because I know that I want to be orange happy today, or I want to be lime happy today. And likewise, you'll start to, it's a shorter distance to saying, when you've got like a client in front of you and they're in a really bad way and you can see, I want to be able to get them to a lime happy place. Lime happy is giggly and light-hearted and able to unknot things. I can get them there very fast because I know what it will do in my body. All I've got to do then is ascertain, how does that make you feel? Does it do the same to them? You can't really work that out unless you know what it does to you first. So this mindfulness technique of doing that is really good for a way to occupy your brain. And likewise, the second mindfulness technique would simply to be to just be very, very quiet in your body. And I use this if somebody has comes to me and has this pain that they can't quite explain, that it's just there's an emptiness somewhere and it's just there and nothing that they can do will get rid of it. And when that happens, it tends often to be somebody who has been drinking a lot or has been doing drugs or acting out. They're doing everything they can to try and get rid of that pain, to escape that pain. And this is a really great mindfulness exercise to kind of say, okay, so we're going to sit with that pain and we're just going to use Clary Sage to say, well, send love to that pain. Just surround it with love because you feel things in your body with Clary Sage, right? To kind of just focus on that pain all of the time and kind of just turn it around and see what you can find out about it. And sometimes just surrounding it with love and attention is enough to send it away. It's not a fast job. It will take weeks and weeks and weeks. But what you'll start to see is the person starts to say, do you know, it's not been so bad this week because they've given attention to it. They've given love to it. And I can't remember the man's name now. There's a tremendous guy that talks about meditation and he's got a Buddhist name. It's gone, sorry. But what he talks about with this idea of giving love to something is like, I find that quite intangible to be able to say, well, how do I send love to it? I don't know what that feels like. And he gave this really great example of like when somebody's sitting crying in front of you and you reach out your hand and just put your hands on their lap so they know you're there. That's what you're sending. That's what you're sending. That kind of, I'm not looking to take it away. I'm just sitting with you in your pain, putting that feeling of putting your hand there and just saying, I'm just here. That is a really good Clary Sage meditation. Yeah.
Just some things to finish off. A bit of a trio that I really love with that kind of when you feel that that pain, but you haven't got to the bottom of what it is or what's causing it. I love to bring in Clary Sage for that ability to listen within and be mindful of what's happening within you. I find vetiver is really good for helping you get to the root of an issue, and it makes you go still, especially when you have been avoidant. Like there's something wrong, so I'll drink, so I'll keep myself busy, whatever that may be. Vetiver slows you down in that way. And I do find lime magically has been used throughout history in all different cultures, whether it be the lime we know today or Persian limes or key limes have been used in different traditions to cleanse away that negativity and help us get to the heart of an issue. So I think maybe playing with those three would be really powerful. And I do, I
Yep.
love that you shared the idea of working with different citruses as well, because I have recently just received a batch of 15 rare Japanese citruses and I'm trying to unpack the difference between kabusu and amanatsu and all these amazing essential oils that most of us haven't heard of. But it's really interesting as you get to know them, citruses aren't all the same, and these are very, very different as well. Now, if you've enjoyed this conversation about mindfulness and you'd like to know a bit more about questions to ask to help with that spiritual awakening, make sure you check out our other video on that. But we'll be back soon to talk about other aspects of the magical Clary Sage. Until then, take care and blessed be.
Bye bye.